What's good? I'm Kinnell, and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of the stranger side of cinema. Just letting you know with this little bit at the start that we now have a Patreon. Sub up to that, and you can get all these episodes early and ad-free, so you won't even see this bit at the start. You get them a few days before the main episodes drop out. We've got some great guests coming up. We've got some studio episodes. We've got some Zoom episodes with some fantastic rappers talking about the films they love and the films that influenced them. We got a lot going on there. Plus, you get some bonus content like film reviews, all that kind of thing. I don't need to explain this to you. You know what a Patreon is. But yeah, it's patreon.com/Kinnell Sinister Cinema. So check that out. Peace. Yes, people. What's good? I'm Kinnell, and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of the stranger side of cinema. Kinnell Sinister Cinema is brought to you by Forgotten Sons Apparel. Check them out at forgottensonsapparel.co.uk. Forgotten Sons Apparel is a York-based streetwear brand drawing inspiration from alternative culture, tattoos, film, classic TV and cartoons from our childhood. In our own words, if you like our stuff half as much as we do, then we like it twice as much as you. I'm a big fan of this brand and I love the guys who make it. They've supported me for years, way before I was podcasting. They supported me in my battle rap career. You might have seen me rocking some of their garms on Don't Flop and other leagues. I love Forgotten Sons Apparel and I'm urging you all to check them out at forgottensonsapparel.co.uk. Right, now on with the show. Hey, what's good? KSC once again. I am Kinnell. You know what it is because I do this every time and I keep introducing the thing even though I introduce it twice in the ad reads. Nonetheless, we're back. I'm not sure when this is going out. It's either going out one Thursday or another Thursday. They all go out on Thursdays. But we are recording this on the Tuesday, the 2nd of May. And broad daylight, unknown for this podcast. We're just coming off the back of a good Don't Flop event down at Battersea. You can check me and versus Danny Jack as well as our guest in an incredible battle on the Don't Flop Patreon. So have a nose at that if you are so inclined. But no further ado, I'm going to bring in a UK hip-hop stalwart, a Leeds legend, one of my personal favourite battle rappers. It is Matter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Who the fuck are you calling a stalwart?
I real talk, I'm not even sure what the word stalwart means. I just kind of know when you use it.
It sounds like an insult to me.
Yeah, it's got the word wart in it. And
exactly.
Yeah, like stalwart and all. Maybe it's something that stops warts.
I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of research into the etymology of that word.
This is a come from somewhere. We got to find it out. Sounds a bit Cornish to me.
Oh yeah, defo.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be talking about a artist today, a writer, a director, a sometimes actor who, in these particularly strange times, I think we need to hear from more than ever, Chris Morris.
I would say overall a satirist. You know, as someone who pokes holes in this little society that we've constructed for ourselves, and you know, just like helps you to see things through a different lens. That's the satirist job.
It's something we need more now than ever these days. Like, I mean, I do wonder if the fact we haven't heard from him a bit is just because, like, we're at a point when fucking life is
I agree,
beyond.
man. I reckon children in war-torn countries need satire more than ever. Like, I think they really need it. How else are they going to get through?
This is it. And like, how unrealistic how like surreal can you make things when, like, I've just found out the Stone of Destiny exists and plays a role in flipping the hierarchy of our flipping monarchy and all this. How is something called the Stone of Destiny a real thing?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to explain to me what the Stone of Destiny is, because
like, I thought this was a bit like, well, obviously, you know, recently I had a queen die. Don't know if you heard about that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And one of the non-offending descendants is taking up the mantle, and something called the
Right.
Stone of Destiny is being brought down from Scotland with bodyguards and something, and this plays some role in the coronation that I don't understand because I haven't read any further, because it's called the Stone of fucking Destiny and it sounds like some Tenacious D shit, and I'm struggling to process the fact it's real.
Just checking, what year are we actually existing in right at this very moment?
My phone says 2023.
Are we in Game of Thrones? What the fuck are they on about a Stone of Destiny? Is this gonna somehow like just suck all the fat out of Prince Charles's fingers? What's it gonna do? Bestow him with ancient powers? This is bullshit.
Yeah,
why are we fucking paying? Why are the taxpayers paying for Stones of Destiny? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like to have a flipping escort and multiple bodyguards. If there's anything in the world that doesn't need bodyguards, it's a fucking stone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would like to try and steal it though. That'd be all right.
Yeah. Again, the like I don't know how big it is. I don't know what it looks like. But yeah. So anyway, Chris Morris.
Chris Morris.
Yeah. He's someone who's like been quite a fixture that's sort of popped up as both an influence and like something I've always loved throughout my life. So I'm just wondering, like, what's your sort of relationship with his work? When did you first sort of come across it?
I think it was Brass Eye was the first thing I came across, and I was in school, and it was just, we came to school the next day, and everybody was just talking about it, and everybody was just quoting all the lines. I think the first episode I saw was the one where he pranked a load of celebrities into believing there was a fake drug called cake.
Cake, yes. He literally had them saying it's a made-up drug.
Basically, what he did was, in that series, he took all the things that the public were most hysterical about and took the piss out of them. And so that obviously at the time was drugs, which still is, and paedophilia, which was one of the more controversial things he did. He sort of there was a lot of hysteria around paedophilia at the time, and Chris Morris lampooned the living shit out of it. And then I went back and I watched stuff like that he did earlier, like The Day to Day, which introduced Steve Coogan's Alan Partridge as a character, and then went even further back into his radio work, because I'm just like a nerd like that, and his work with Armando Iannucci, who wrote Veep and Alan Partridge and all the other stuff, and IT Crowd and all that shit. So yeah, he's had it.
Like,
and that's before he even gets started into his film work. This is just his backstory.
Yeah, and we've got and there's some incredible stuff that happens between Brass Eye and his film work. I mean, like Nathan Barley, like was very much satirizing its time and flipping. It was also so far ahead of its time that you could still call someone a Nathan Barley type today and it be relevant.
Yeah, exactly. So that was him and Charlie Brooker who wrote Black Mirror, and that they wrote that together, and it was London hipster culture before that culture was, widely known. Before anybody really knew anything about that, all the weird sort of like pretentious posh London media types. It opened a window onto that, and for a lot of people, it was it was their first glimpse at that world.
Yeah, and it was a world that flipping we'd all find ourselves like rubbing up against our will in a lot of cases.
Exactly. Whenever I'm in London, I find myself rubbing up against these fucking Nathan Barley types more than I'd like to.
Yeah.
Don't get so many of them up here in Leeds, but
yeah, flipping. I think they're like bleeding into Manchester. Like, I think there's a bit more of that going on there. Like since like Salford Media City and all that lot.
As soon as the word media enters the equation, it's game over, man.
Yeah,
it's mullet city from that point on.
Yeah, media slowly.
You know what? You know what pisses me off about ironic mullets? Yeah, nobody's rocking the fucking full like coiffured Bon Jovi look. You know, like
Yeah,
they want to keep it sort of like vaguely fashionable. They're not going full 80s with it, and that's why I can't respect their lack of commitment to the cause. That's all I'm saying. But yeah,
that's it. You've got to commit to the bit if you're going to do these things, but just having like, oh, cheeky little reference, it's not enough. Like,
exactly. So obviously Nathan Barley had Richard Ayoade in it for a little bit, and what's his face for Julian? What's his face from Mighty Boosh is in it.
yeah, Julian Barrett, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also, right before that, Chris Morris did something very experimental, a TV show called Jam, which was some of the most,
started
some of
off
the
as a
most
radio show.
Oh, what?
I believe.
Yeah, he did a radio show and a TV show out of it. So the radio show he did in conjunction with Warp Records, like the experimental electronic label, and that was just like mad, obviously. And the TV show was some of the most weird, unsettling, dark humor. It's just like so dark and so weird. It was just like an acid trip while receiving news of a family member's death. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was quite interesting at the time because like a lot of it involves like all these surreal sound bites over these ambient soundscapes. But like this is coming off the back of like this is like sort of post the sort of trip hop era when trip hop had become proper, like had gone from its sort of sound system origins to like proper flipping what should we call it, coffee shop music.
Yeah,
And like
more Chiba.
Yeah, this was something like it was using like these ambient soundscapes to create something that was really fucking quite disturbing in places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so disturbing. I would encourage anyone to just go and watch Jam, but do it sober because it's trippy. It's trippy enough as it is. Do it sober as a fucking judge. All right. And and he did that and the radio show, and then he did Nathan Barley, and then he made his first foray into big screen cinema with one of the best films and probably one of my top 10 films of all time.
Yes, Four Lions.
Four freaking Lions. Absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, flipping it's something that's still like it's still an amazing piece of work today. That's like 2009, so like flipping we're like 14 years on from it. But like one thing he's done is like I said, he's like always been so ahead of the game. Like I mean, like with Brass Eye, he's like saying these things that people are hysterical about. There is something funny about this hysteria.
Yeah.
With Nathan Barley, he's saying these people that are like producing this media that we're not seeing too like some of these are ridiculous fucking people.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, with Blue Jam, he's going like, okay, we're going to do surrealistic humor, but we're going to make it darkly disturbing in a way that isn't easy to put your finger on. It's not just the content, it's how it is, it's the atmosphere. And in Four Lions, by 2009, flipping several years into the war on terror, he does the most controversial thing you can do, which is represent terrorists with compassion and humanity.
And this still was really, feelings about terrorism were super fresh at this point. Like, I mean, they still are in America, even though it's been like 24, 3 years or whatever since 9/11. It's still super fresh. And obviously, but at that time when it came out 2009, it's just basically he just loves trying to find humor in extremely contentious subjects in it, and you've got to respect that. Like, do you reckon there's any subjects that would be too contentious for him? Like, he's found humor in paedophile outrage and terrorism. Like,
yeah, and both at times when they were the peak of like.
Okay, what would you say? What would you say would be a topic even more taboo than that he could try and tackle?
I don't know. I think that they're the two key ones. Like,
They are the two key ones. Cannibalism.
I think the only way further you could do with that is to attempt to humanize like severely hard right organizations.
Jesus.
That's it.
There you go. There you go, Chris Morris. Your next film idea, right there.
Yeah,
but that'll be like American History X, isn't it? Where like a Nazi starts to question his convictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but
having
yeah,
gone back through that, like, would you say like he's been like much of an influence on how you approach things as an artist?
Definitely, 100%. He just taught me that you can find humor in anything, and just all the sort of like comedians from that era, but him especially, sort of influenced my sense of humor a lot. You know, the dry, fucking sarcastic shit. I love that. But it was especially gratifying to see him succeed in cinema as well, because I hadn't heard anything from him in ages, and then for that film to come out and then watch it, and I was like, oh my god, this is an actual masterpiece. Like it's just it's so packed full of jokes, and it's every character is like fully realized. Especially what's his name? The white guy with the beard.
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Barry, is it Barry?
Barry, that's the one. Like, and he is the most Barry-ish Barry of all Barrys.
Oh, like. He's fantastic. And like obviously
that was like such an instant viewpoint to come out, because like he's someone who, like, you know, in another timeline would be a racist football hooligan, but he's found this one thing to latch onto, and the same thing that like these people are willing to die for their country or willing to die for their football team.
He latched on to fundamental Islam rather than Millwall FC. Yeah, fully.
Yeah, you know, you know, and like, you know, there is like, there are these people like that like, that like, it doesn't matter what the cause is, it's just some kind of sociopathic tendencies within them, some kind of hate within them, and whatever cause they latch onto, it is the excuse, not a reason.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's one of my favorite films of all time. It's, you know, little appearance from Benedict Cumberbatch in there as well.
Yeah,
you know, back in his younger days.
I know.
Pre-Marvel.
An incredible starring performance from Jump Off's Riz MC, who's done all right for himself.
Oh, Riz Ahmed. Yeah, he's done very well for himself, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's crazy to think that he sort of started battle rapping.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how we can link it all together. Yeah, he was a battle rapper, and you know, and now look at him. He's rubbing shoulders with Russell Crowe, probs.
Yeah, hosting Oscars and whatnot.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And like, I think like Four Lions was the jumping off point. It was such an amazing thing. Like, and I believe like he got the role off the back of like do you know Post 9/11 Blues?
Yeah. But yeah, he was in some documentary, wasn't he? He was like playing the role of a Guantanamo inmate, but then he also did a song called Post 9/11 Blues.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct.
I think that was it. Yeah, but yeah, great actor, great fucking actor, man.
Yeah, he's flipping had an incredible body of work off the back of Four Lions, like,
and a solid drummer as well. Proper solid drummer. Great drummer.
Yeah, I still haven't checked Sound of Metal, is it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
And he was in Venom as well, wasn't he? But
yeah,
Venom was a bit shit.
Yeah, flipping. I don't like. I've watched it, but I have like no recollection. Like, flipping. There's become a lot of those what you call it type of like Marvel films that like.
Yeah.
Normally I'll try and watch something that's big if it's an event, but I can't have an event every month. Like, calm down, lads.
Exactly. So since Four Lions, Chris Morris has created one more film, The Day Shall Come.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I watched it kind of around the time. I don't think I was giving it my full attention, and I think it's something I'm going to have to revisit because I remember thinking at the time I don't think I paid full attention. I don't think I really took it all in because it's Chris Morris, so he's probably 10 steps ahead of me. I thought I'll get round to it. And this was around like 2019, so.
Well, it's got Kay Van Novak in it again, obviously, because why would you not? Why would you not have Kay Van Novak in every film possible? Don't see enough of the guy, to be perfectly honest. But it's about basically CIA cells that try and set terrorists up. So it's like entrapment, basically. They'll do it. They'll try and coax. They'll send one of their agents to try and coax somebody into performing a fake terrorist attack where they think if they press this button, it's going to detonate a bomb that's going to kill loads of people, but it's not real. But as soon as they press it, that means that they were ready to do that. And then obviously the agents swarm in. And so it's like, and as always, like he did with Four Lions, Chris Morris researched it heavily. Like with Four Lions, Chris Morris spoke to a lot of British Muslims up and down the country, like high-ranking clerics and whatnot, and so he could like properly represent the subject that he was trying to address. And it was the same thing. It was like he read up on reports of, because these kind of things go on with the CIA and the FBI all the time. This kind of espionage, this clandestine activity. Yeah. They just try and catch
there's
people.
Lots of it been coming out very recently, hasn't it? Like flipping, like the whole January 6th attack on the Capitol. Like, there's been ongoing thing. Like, obviously there was a lot of like nutters down there, but like the Proud Boys were being like represented as this big spearheaded thing that, and like 2/3 of them were FBI informants.
Really?
Something ridiculous. It's some huge number. I think there was more FBI informants in there than there wasn't. And I think the main guy was like some kind of stooge, and flipping like the like trial's just been a shit show because everyone's just ratting out other informants that they didn't know were informants.
I think Chris Morris's next film needs to be based on the Capitol riots, like a recreation of the Capitol riots. That's what it has to be. But yeah, The Day Shall Come. Like, it's good.
I think I've had another thought of what I'd like his next thing to be. Okay. I think he needs to talk about like Graham Linehan, because obviously that's a former collaborator of him in More Sane Times.
I know. Yeah. Well, I think he'd probably rather just leave that alone. I think most people would rather leave that alone because, like, obviously, like people like Stuart Lee have collaborated with Graham Linehan, but Stuart Lee has come out vocally against him and just said, "Fuck this guy," but obviously way more eloquently than that. And Graham Linehan's gone, "No, Stuart Lee's a traitor to comedy. He should be struck off the comedy register and all this stuff." And now he's been cancelled. Oh no! Another victim of cancel culture, like Dave Chappelle.
It's one of those cancel. Like I think there's a story to be told in cancel culture because it doesn't not exist, but a lot of people are like building whole careers off completely lying about what it is.
Yeah. Basically, it maybe does. There is hysteria. There is always hysteria, and people do act hysterically.
And there are people who exploit it deliberately.
But it's been deliberately exaggerated for financial gain.
Yeah, I think something needs to be looked at
like,
in terms of
our children are getting turned. what, like, make their vaccinating their children, turn them gay. Like, come on. You know?
This is it. Like, it's worth noting that, like, the whole sort of process of, like, cancelling is something that, what should we call it, that the right do a lot of as well. But, like, for some reason, the left don't want to call it cancel culture. So,
Yeah.
So
obviously, the right have been doing that for ages. Do you think anyone would give TV time to somebody who was spouting outwardly socialist ideas during the fucking McCarthy trials and the communist witch hunts? Would they F? You know what I mean? Would they heck?
Yeah, flipping and like
that kind of cancel culture has been going on since the 1970s, and now all of a sudden it's just like, what, you mean I can't use like derogatory slurs against people anymore? I'm being cancelled. What the fuck?
This is it. But like, there's definitely
my dad used derogatory slurs all the time, and it was fine.
Yeah, time in moving on, shocker.
Yeah, I know. People don't like to be told that they have to change, because people have very little capacity for change when it comes down to it, especially British people. Very stubborn, very, very stubborn.
Yeah,
and that's why there was so much controversy. Why there was so much controversy around Brass Eye and stuff. Obviously, when this paedophile episode came out, like, the Sun went crazy and just said he was like some absolute psychopath and blah blah blah. So that's the best publicity you can get, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I like what you call it, and there was like certain things that had to be what should we call it, like that had to be cut due to outrage, and like that made the DVD all the more desirable when that dropped.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, Yorkshire Ripper the musical.
Yorkshire Ripper the musical. Well, that's what you think his next thing should be.
No, that was like one of the sketches from Brass Eye that had to be cut out
of
TV.
Fuck yeah.
And like, that's something that's like so incredibly ahead of its time in itself. Like the idea of like venerating and celebrating an actual serial killer with victims. And like, you know, it's something we still see today with like Netflix true crime drama.
I was going to say Dharma just come out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Are we not just celebrating Dharma?
Yeah.
What a charismatic serial killer he was.
This is it. Like, that was such a controversial thing to say, but what he's saying is happened. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if the Yorkshire Ripper was released today, I mean, he's dead, so he won't be. Like, I think he would be getting contacted for fucking media deals.
Yeah.
By Nathan Barley types.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So here's another thing about Chris Morris, he's a notorious recluse. As far as I can tell, he doesn't really have any social media presence. He just like keeps himself to himself. So if he was working on another project, then we probably wouldn't hear about it until release date. So I'm really hoping that he's got more, because everything he's given us so far has been extremely insightful and funny.
Yeah. So, and as I say, these are times when we need his fucking insight.
Innit? Don't be like chilling and like, I don't know, working on the allotment while the world's burning, Chris Morris. Yeah. We need your biting satirical insight right now more than ever. Okay.
And we'll pay for it.
I think, we need a recreation of the Capital 6 riots, but also intertwine that with the culture wars and cancel culture, and just wrap it up all in a neat little bow.
Yeah.
Boom.
And somehow, what should we
and
call
obviously
it?
put Kay Van Novak in there. Obviously,
somehow also incorporate someone having a Graham line. Oh, sorry, La.
I'm just saying, put Kay Van Novak in it. Obviously.
Of course, that man does not miss. Like, I've been really been enjoying What We Do in the Shadows. He's been fantastic in that.
Oh, it's great. And of course, Matt Berry.
Yeah, he's someone that I've pretty much enjoyed him in everything he's been in, and most of what he's been in's been really good. But whatever it is, I'm always enjoying him on screen.
Yeah, obviously, he's magnetic. You know what I mean? The camera loves him, even though he's just like kind of a little fat, weird-looking guy. Yeah, just don't know. He's like a Shakespearean actor reborn into the body of just an absolute London cokehead.
Yeah.
Fucking
ideal. Like, so in that respect, it's kind of bit weird that we didn't see him in Nathan Barley.
Yeah. True. Very true, actually. Yeah. He would have been perfect in that. But obviously, the funny thing is that he ended up playing Chris Morris's son in the IT Crowd.
Yeah.
So Chris Morris played Denham Renham for the first season of the IT Crowd, exited the show by jumping out a window and killing himself in the second season. And then Matt Berry stepped in to play his son. And that was the role that got Matt Berry big as well.
Yeah, that was the one where he really truly shined for a lot of people. Like,
yeah, he was great in that. But I think Chris Morris just needs to maybe do a blockbuster. Maybe he just needs to do a blockbuster, but his own spin, his own knowing meta spin on a blockbuster. Maybe they need to get him to direct some. What do you reckon he'd do? Like if they got him directing a Marvel film? What do you reckon he'd do? Do you think he'd like do like an Alan Moore sort of thing of commenting on superheroes' role within culture at large and the rise of proto-fascism and shit? Or do you reckon he'd?
I think I'd like to see his take on the industry behind it, like flipping the whole thing behind it, like, maybe it's some intertwining thing where half of it's the film going on and half of it's like what goes into making the film. That'd probably get him his Oscar, because like Hollywood loves a film about making films, unless they have to like think that it's about making films. Like, nope.
Yeah.
You need to spell it out for the Academy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because like it's been several years of like the news being increasingly more ridiculous every day, and it hasn't just been one thing. I wonder if he wrote a COVID project that just isn't relevant anymore because of how fast things have progressed. I mean, like it wasn't long ago that flipping David Icke had a mainstream following.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Is he actually? He's never had a mainstream following. I think David Icke fans would hate it if he had a mainstream following. David Icke fans pride themselves on being against the mainstream.
Yeah.
They're just deliberately contrarian, isn't it? That's their whole thing. Like flat earthers and that. Would you consider flat Earth mainstream?
No. This is one thing we've discussed, like, at events in the past, like, but fucking hell, that COVID era really did take all the fun out of conspiracy theories.
I think the just increasingly ridiculous times that we live in have just killed satire. That's what everyone says in it. How are you supposed to satirize anything when reality is just this ridiculous? But now Trump's gone. And I barely even remember that sweaty prick. I barely even remember what he looks like, and it's ideal.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't barely know what Joe Biden looks like either. I don't really give a fuck. It's just for a minute there, it was looking like the creeping rise of fascism was setting in, and it was in a lot of ways, and it still is. That's not to count it out at all, but I think I think with the recent immigration policies, the creeping rise of fascism is over here now.
Yeah,
It's in England. It's in England. It's settled over here.
Yeah, we've hit this horrible stage where like fucking the Conservatives have fucked so much up constantly that even the most conservative of conservative fucking voters like can't say actually they're the fucking sensible lot. So they've got to go back to the old tactics of fuckery and this is the enemy and finger pointing and like try to like take advantage of the culture war and point at an other that people don't understand, be it refugees, be it immigrants, be it trans people, and it's happening that again. And
basically,
that's coincided with Labour having a leader that thinks like, oh, we got to be saying some Tory shit to win. That's how you win.
Oh my god, that was really embarrassing. Keir Starmer, yeah. If you're watching, and I know there's like a fairly reasonable chance you are, yeah. Just don't try and beat the Tories in the sleaze game because that's their bread and butter. You can't beat the Tories in the sleaze game. It's what they do. Yeah, it's what they do. But but yeah, I think I think what the Tories are trying to do is they're trying to appeal to their most hardcore, most racist, least empathetic, like hardcore base that they can. But what they're not realizing is that base isn't as big as they think it is. They're thinking that even the most hardcore Tories are like, you know what? I still kind of do agree that they are human beings. Yeah, and they're like, no, we can't have that. Well, they're trying to appeal to people who don't believe that they're human beings at all. They're just a thing.
Yeah, and that's it. There were like I think like a good percentage of fucking like Tory voters were people who like just think that anything left wing is going to cost them some of their hoarded wealth. So they're willing to let a lot of human rights slide if they can keep a bit more money.
True. But this is a film podcast, right? And I'm just like completely derailing it with a load of bullshit, right? I'm sorry.
We get constantly derailed, like flipping. This is the film podcast where I get me mates on there. We completely failed to talk about films.
Okay. Let's talk about recent films. What's the best film you've seen at like this come out in the last month or so?
Infinity Pool by a good margin.
I'm ashamed to say I'm unaware. What you'll have to explain it to me.
It's Brandon Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son, with his third feature following Possessor.
You were going to say Brandon Crowe then. I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a comeback.
Hell of a comeback.
Yeah, like actually like living the plot of The Crow and being resurrected, but making a movie.
Yeah, but now then if you combine Brandon Crowe with David Cronenberg, you'd have a Crow with just like hideous body horror mutations and shit. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go on. Explain to me Infinity Pool.
Yeah, Infinity Pool is it's his third feature. It's got Mia Goth in it and one of the Skarsgårds. There's lots of them. I get them mixed up.
They're like the Baldwins in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you call it. I'd say it's very J.G. Ballard influenced because Concerns this guy. I'm gonna
nod and stroke my chin and pretend like I got that and went, yeah, J.G. Ballard influence. Nice, yeah, very nice. But yeah, what's the plot? What's it about?
It's this guy. He's a writer. He's had like one hit book, and he's married to the what should we call it? The millionaire daughter, an owner of the publishing company that published his book, and he's been hasn't been able to really write since. And so they're going on this trip away, which he's all paying for because he's a skins writer that just happened to get in with her and married rich. And they're at this resort for very, very rich people on this sort of unspecified European sort of island resort where you don't sort of go off the resort. You just, it's all like bring me grapes, all this kind
Yeah,
of shit.
yeah.
And they get mixed up with another couple, and
Classic.
They go off the resort on some fuckery. Some bad stuff happens, and it turns out there's like, some sort of secret going on with the corrupt officials of this island, where I won't go into it too much, but basically you can pay your way out of doing literally anything. And he finds his way into and this is kind of him being inducted into moving with a group of very rich people that are sort of doing a lot of terrible things and getting away with it. But are they getting away with it? Yeah. And it's also very, very, very surreal and cerebral, and you're gonna fucking love it, man. You should definitely check it.
I do like surreal, cerebral things.
Yeah,
as much as possible. Have you seen Triangle of Sadness?
I haven't. That one slipped me radar so far. I keep meaning to.
That's fantastic. If you want like a little satire of mega wealth and all that stuff, that's the one. It's like set on it's set on a luxury mega yacht that's got Woody Harrelson as the captain.
Yeah.
But Woody Harrelson's like a massive communist, and all of them, everybody on there is just like super Russian oligarchs and all that shit. And then you know what? It's just it's good. It's good. It's like Parasite, but American.
Post Parasite, there's been like quite a few like sort of emerging recent sort of like Eat the Rich movies, and so some people are saying it's a bit played out. I'm saying I'm always gonna fuck with that. Do it while I'm watching. Like
Definitely.
The Menu's another example.
Yeah, scran them up good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did. Satire is of extra well. You what? Sorry.
Except Riz Ahmed, because he's done a couple of battles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he's not one of the mega elite. The mega elite, we don't know their names. We probably never will.
Yeah, that's where Elon Musk fucked up by trying to be the guy.
Him, Jeff Bezos, all these people, they're trying to be celebrities, but Musk most of all. He's trying to be something. Oh my God.
He's trying to be like a flipping epic bacon Reddit guy in flipping 2023. And that is some fucking 2015 shit.
Yeah, he's trying to be a person that people aren't repulsed by, and that is just not within his remit. Except if your name is Grimes. Grimes managed to fight through the repulsion barrier, which is something that Elon Musk set up himself. Yeah, he fought through the repulsion barrier and managed to father 3 holographic children with him. And they called it, and what did they call their kids? Like XX 1.2 or something.
Some fucking equation.
Yeah, an emoji. I'm pretty sure it was like the turd emoji or something.
Yeah, I think one of their children is a fucking ape NFT.
Okay, Chris Morris's next film, a biopic of Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I can hear the lawsuits rolling in already. Do you remember what he called that guy who tried to rescue those kids in the tunnel, a nonce or something?
Yeah.
What a fucking dickhead, man. Jesus.
Like it was only a few years ago, like he had really like good like public relations, but he insisted on fucking talking.
Yeah.
Because I suppose like flipping when you're the heir to a fucking emerald mine in apartheid South Africa, have all the money in the world to invest in fucking easy wins that are good ideas, like people are gonna think you're clever. But he insisted, but the one thing money can't buy is a sense of fucking humor.
Exactly. I remember he was on Saturday Night Live one episode and he played Wario.
Yeah.
And it was the least funny Saturday Night Live sketch, probably of all time, probs, I reckon, yeah.
Yeah,
But
flipping.
yeah,
I believe he what you call it? He's in an episode of The Simpsons, which I haven't watched because I haven't checked Simpsons for many years. But I understand he paid for the episode to be made to have Lisa say he was a genius in it.
oh my God.
That's
So what he did?
bleak levels of fucking desperate for attention.
Oh, what an absolute diva.
Yeah.
Absolute diva. The only episode of The Simpsons I've watched in the last few years is the one where they took the piss out of Morrissey and just called him a fat racist, which is 101% accurate.
Yeah. Flipping, what do you call it? It's amazing how many of the for old alternative legends of the 80s just turned out to be wankers. Fucking what should we call it? Johnny Rotten's one of them, isn't he?
Oh, he's an awful twat right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a gobshite. Fucking hell. I wonder how he's feeling after Trump's defeat. He's been keeping a low profile after it. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. I feel like Johnny Rotten just always has to be the contrarian. There's certain okay, so there was two different subsects of punk, yeah. So there was the type that just wanted to insult and offend everyone. So whatever people believed, they were just like, no, I'm going to insult that because I'm a punk, yeah. And then there was the punks who believed in social change for the better.
Yeah.
So obviously, Sex Pistols were all about shock value. They didn't really have anything.
It was an art experiment.
They didn't really have anything to say, and that's fair enough. Like they didn't have to. That was their thing. Yeah. Fair fox. But then you obviously had punks who were more in the political side of thing, like in America, Dead Kennedys and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And but yeah, but then he's obviously just seen people starting to be like, oh, this Trump guy is a fucking dickhead, and he's gone, you know what? I'm just going to be like side with him just to be a fucking deliberate dickhead.
Yeah.
Just to be you know what? There's nothing sadder than a troll in their 50s. If like you can't be a 56-year-old internet troll. That is just you just can't. Well, you can, but be prepared to look like a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, and it's one thing being an internet troll, but when you're like a public figure through some other thing, then like people are going to interview you and you're going to say stupid things. Don't be on TV advertising butter and for trying to be this much in a public figure.
It was just literally the fact that Johnny Rotten is in any way of a person that anyone would listen to was all just luck of right place, right time. That's all it was. He was just there.
They were a boy band, the Sex Pistols, effectively. Like Malcolm McLaren seen this punk thing going off with the Ramones. He's thinking, how do I combine this with what Vivienne Westwood's doing? Let me get these people.
I'll tell you what, the Ramones would have absolutely fucked the Sex Pistols up in a fight. If it was a fucking if it was a straight up street brawl between Ramones and Sex Pistols. First of all, Sid Vicious is going to be fucking he's going to be sat in a pile of his own puke, probably, with a needle hanging out of his arm. Johnny Rotten's going to be crying. To be fair, Steve Jones would probably handle himself quite. He seems like a bit of a tasty bastard, for sure.
Yeah.
I reckon he'd have taken out maybe Dee Dee and Joey Ramone by himself, but maybe get fucked up. And who else was it? Paul something or up.
I don't know. We're out of the remit of Sex Pistols that I can remember comfortably.
the fourth Sex Pistol.
Yeah. Flipping it. And like you find with all these like flipping sort of alternative counterculture figures, you do find out that like some of the ones that like weren't really counterculture figures you consider were actually doing good things, like flipping, like Mick Hucknall from Simply Red was like flipping responsible for like bringing a lot of reggae to the UK by getting a lot of like Jamaican artists like pressed up by on his UK label, so we had access to that kind of music, like, and that was never something you didn't find out about till the internet era.
Yeah, and the people just accepted a ginger doing music back then, and like that's not been a thing for a while. I think LaRue was the last famous ginger that. Oh no, wait, hang on, Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Is Ed Sheeran?
Ed Sheeran might have come around before, but LaRue was the last one that emerged.
Right, hang on. I may need to grab a charger for my phone. 1 second.
Aye, safe. And while he's off there, I'll say I do kind of think that what should we call it? LaRue might have been like one of the earliest sort of like UK nepo baby discussions, you know, because I remember, like, you know, because a man was in the bill. Actually, I suppose Lily Allen was like before her, like Keith Allen and that, and I don't know. Before that, we never really knew whose parents had what should we call it, links on the Wikipedia page, so. We didn't really know about such things. I don't know how relevant that is, but your man's finding a charger. It's one of them.
Nepo babies. It's outrageous. How the fuck are these bastards just like slipping by the system? Like, oh, my dad's a Robert De Niro, so can I be cast in the next freaking James Bond film? No, it doesn't work. Well, it does work like that, but it shouldn't work like that.
Yeah, I think it's like actually how it's always works, and we only know now.
Do you know what? I found out that Jason Sudeikis, you know, from like Ted Lasso and that, another nepo baby. Yeah. Do you know who his uncle is?
Go on.
Norm from Cheers, George Wendt. Do you know the fat guy from Cheers?
Yeah,
that's his uncle. So obviously, instant acceptance into the industry.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to audition anymore. He just goes in and goes, "My uncle's Norm," and they're like, "Yeah, no worries, mate.
No,
got the part." I'm not saying Jason Sudeikis isn't talented. He's very talented. He's funny, but
it's one of them. It's a funny one with nepo babies, because sometimes when it's like something like music, you know, flipping, you're going to be more talented if you don't have to get a part-time job and you grew up in a house with every musical instrument you could want, have access to it, and have someone who was great at playing them show you what to do.
Well, but not even all the musical instrument stuff, yeah. Although that is fucking obviously a massive thing, but just.
Hello, I think we lost Matt. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a second to see if he comes back on. But my personal favorite nepo baby story I ever heard of was hang on. He's back.
Yo, bigger the back. But yeah, I was just saying, like, in spite of all the other advantages, such as having all instruments at your disposal and whatnot, just the freedom of being able to explore your passion without the worry of having to like worry about rent and bills and shit. That's it. That's it. If you could just be like, yeah, I'm gonna figure out who I am and what I want to do with no pressure, no monetary pressure whatsoever. Oh, can you imagine if we all just had like a year in our lives where where it was government mandated, that we had no financial pressure whatsoever, and we could just figure out what we wanted to do? But no, keep churning out them fucking.
I think I think most people could be an incredible artist during could at least become a good artist given those circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, the interesting one is like, who's your favorite Nepo baby? My one might be, are you familiar with the band AC Dixie that plays like bluegrass covers of like AC/DC tunes?
I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar with the catalogue. Gotta be honest.
The guy who was
Is it like bluegrass type of thing?
Yeah, the guy who's the what should we call it, their banjo player was his dad wrote Dueling Banjos, the Deliverance theme tune.
Yeah.
So like flipping the
Nepo
royalties baby. of that one tune prevented him ever to have a job, and he's had like access to like the world's greatest banjo tutorial.
Yeah.
And he's chosen to do something incredibly fucking niche with it. I kind of fuck with it. I fuck with it.
Respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know who my favourite Nepo baby is. Is Winona Ryder a Nepo baby? No.
I don't know. I do kind of feel like she might be. Nicolas Cage, Francis Ford Coppola's some kind of relative, isn't it?
Yeah. Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son. He's a good actor. I like him. That's my favourite Nepo baby. Colin Hanks.
How do you feel about Chet Hanks? Fucking hell.
You know what? I know limited amounts about Chet Hanks, and the reason that is because everything I have heard about him makes me want to know less about him.
Yeah, understandable. Oh. The Illuminati has once again cut Matt's feed due to, what should we call it, talking shit on the Hanks family. We, of course, respect the... Oh, hang on. He's back.
Bloody Nora.
I think the Illuminati are fucking with my feed because I'm talking shit on the name of the Hanks family here.
In it, yeah. I heard you say the word Chet Hanks, and they were like, right, fuck that. But yeah, Chet Hanks is a troubled individual. That's where a Hollywood lifestyle can really, it can go wrong. It can go very badly wrong. And Chet Hanks he's like the Lindsay Lohan of his generation, I would say.
Yeah, but never produced a banger like what should we call it? I Know Who Killed Me.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that film. Still needs a UK Blu-ray release. But we're coming up to the hour mark, and the connection's getting a bit choppy. So I reckon we should probably look at wrapping up here. Yes, Matter. Let people know what any socials you want them, and any eyes you want to on projects, anything you want to make people aware of. And he's gone. So that was the KSC, and the Illuminati does not want you contacting him. Hang on, he's back.
It just keeps cutting out. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. I will say that I've got a project coming out with a producer called Chill Smith very soon, called Scathing Cultural Critiques to Study and Relax To. So check out my Bandcamp for that. I'll be publicizing it. Check me out Instagram at Mattalogic, MATTALOGIC. Same on Facebook. Watch all Chris Morris's TV shows. Listen to all of Chris Morris's radio shows and all of his films. Watch them as well. And yeah, get enlightened. Get prepared for the impending apocalypse.
Is right. Matter, it's been a pleasure. This has been the KSC. Safe.